Good afternoon, MPC. Kasama na natin si Chief Presidential Legal Counsel and Presidential Spokesperson, Salvador Panelo.
Good afternoon. Parang nasa ano lahat yata, black nasa rin yung mga reporters. Ha? There are only 6 of you.
Se-
10 lang pala. Hindi, 7 lang, 8. Anyway, we would like to confirm the enactment and the signing of the salary in standardization law for 2019. You recall that this was certified as urgent by the President. And in fact, during the State of the Nation address, he mentioned about this. Of course, the desire of the President is to upgrade the standard of living of government employees. And this measure will rationalize the compensation of all civilian personnel, including those in the legislative and judicial branches, as well as of the local government units under certain conditions, the purpose of which is to create an atmosphere which would promote excellence in the service, providing for a performance-based incentive scheme to reward outstanding public servants. And let me say that this was the initiative of the President and has, in fact, his strong support during the deliberations in Congress. I'm sure this law will benefit those hardworking men and women in the government, including the most neglected sector in the bureaucracy. And I refer to the teachers and the nurses. End of statement.
Question, Maricel Halili.
Sir, did the President adopt the version of the Congress?
Since I haven't seen the law itself, I cannot.
Sir, meron kasing nilabas na statement yung Teachers Dignity Coalition saying that although they are thankful that the President has recognized their need for the salary increase, they're still disappointed kasi kung inadopt daw yung version ng Congress, mas mababa pa rin daw ito dun sa promise na 10,000 peso hike for the salary of teachers.
Well, as we have said before, the promise of the President will be complied with. Maybe not this year, but his term has not yet ended. You must remember that the increase will depend on the funds that this government has.
So meaning, sir, there's still a chance
Of
to meet
course.
the promise before his term ends.
For as long as there is tomorrow, there is hope.
Question, Joseph.
So yung sa effectivity lang po, so January 1, 2020, no? So ibig
Up
sabihin,
to ano yan, ha? Up to 2023.
23, sir, 4 tranches, yes.
4 tranches.
but as far as the first one is concerned, January 1, 2020. So kailan nila matatanggap yan dapat? January 15?
Hindi ko alam. Parting yun.
Di nyo chinecheck sa sweldo nyo, sir?
Ha?
15 ba yung sweldo ng government? Ate?
15:30.
15.30. So dapat 15 meron na.
I do not know the immediate implementation of this law.
If it's effective January 1st, so
Nandun yun sa batas eh. I haven't
correct,
seen
sir.
the law itself.
January 1, 2020. So pwede ba mag-asa na sila na by the 15th meron na?
Ayoko sila umasa. I haven't seen the law kasi nandun yun sa batas eh kung kailan effective.
Yung first tranche nga, sir, January 1, 2020. So
Hindi ko
kailan
ma-
yun?
Hindi ko pang, it is in the law itself, but I haven't read it.
Okay, other issue. Tina? Questions? Wala na kayong tanong? Oo, go.
Kailan daw ba
Joseph.
ilalabas yung kopya kasi naman?
Sige,
Sir,
Tina.
what is definite is effective January 1, yung yung effectivity. I mean,
What is
January 1 yung
definite
effective.
is there is an increase in the salary grade. That is definite. Eh, darating yun.
Available by January. Pero syempre baka may public
Questions? Joseph.
So regarding Iraq and Iran, no, the latest statement by the U.S. President said that Iran appears to be standing down. No, ibig sabihin, they might not be a
Good news. Good news for all of us. If the conflict has de-escalated instead of escalating, then that's good news for everyone, especially for our overseas workers. But nevertheless, the move to evacuate and repatriate is still going on.
with regard to what countries? sir?
Iraq and Iran, and most likely Libya. Or Lebanon ba? Lebanon.
Okay, sir. So just to be clear about it, tuloy yung evacuation Iraq, Iran, Lebanon.
Yes,
Even
unless the de-escalation reaches a point where the safety of our countrymen are no longer in peril.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
MPC. Questions? Maricel.
Sir, can you explain what will be the strategy of the government in evacuating the OFWs in Middle East? I mean, once ba na nag-express na yung OFW that they want to leave the country, they can be easily bring to other countries? Is it like that?
What I
Or-
know is that there is a place where they will have to be evacuated, not repatriate kaagad. Yun ang alam ko.
But I
For
mean,
those who would want, because you cannot also force our overseas workers if they prefer to stay, like in Iran where they're married to Iranians.
I mean, sir, is there a need na halimbawa may nag-express na isa, can you easily evacuate yung nag-iisang yun? Or do you have to wait for, let's say, 25 or 10
I do not know the mechanics. I have to consult Secretary Belli on that.
Questions? MPC. Joseph.
Sir, comment lang ng mga devotees. Mukhang medyo parang maigpit yung police ngayon this year.
May ano?
Mukhang masyadong maigpit yung police natin this year because they were saying na mga naka-combat boots tapos parang may mga areas that they were not allowed to go near the Nazareno.
May naka-combat boots yung mga devotees.
Hindi, sir. Yung mga police po. And that caused some injuries to the devotees. With regard to yung latag ng security ng PNP, they think, or some of them at least, think na medyo mahigpit. What's your comment on it?
Well, the PNP certainly has to undertake measures that will provide for the safety of those devotees. It may be strict, but the goal is to protect them from any harm.
Kay Tina.
Sir, related sa security, we noticed that there is tightened security inside the Malacañang compound today compared to yesterday, and the presidential guards are in full combat uniform. Is there a threat at all?
None that I know of, unless that becomes standard.
Okay. Francis, then PM. Tina.
Welcome back, Ms. Pia.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, water issue lang. May update po ba tayo sa kontrata na dinadraft?
Wala pa. Sabi ni Secretary Guevara, it may take 6 months because there are many matters that have to be discussed and completed.
6 months ang parang timetable na binigay ni Secretary Guerrero, sir. So,
Yan ang sabi niya.
Okay. Sir, comment lang po sa banner ng Tribune po na allegedly Maynilad, Manila Water and MWS colluded for profit, sir. That's why masyado raw tumaas ang
Could what?
nag-collude raw ang MWSS, Manila Water and Maynilad.
Nag-collude?
Yes, sir. Para tumaas ang profit nila.
Aling tatlo?
MWSS, sir, kasama po. Para yeah.
What is apparent to the president is that there has been a conspiracy between certain parties to commit this colossal fraud and rip-off. That is what is certain. Who are involved in this conspiracy is another matter. And if we find out who they are, then the law has to take its course, regardless of who are involved.
Okay, Francis?
Let me comment, by the way, by a statement I read about when Secretary Guevara mentioned that it might take 6 months to complete the contract. Some of those concessionaires stated that it may affect the service because no banks loans are forthcoming. Nabasa ko yan eh. Eh sabi ko, my reaction is, excuse me, you have raked billions of profits during the years from 1997 up to the present. What do you need loans for? You have the money in your pocket.
Okay, Pia?
Sir, once the new contracts are completed, will Malacañang publicize these documents?
Oh, as soon as the contract is given to them and they accepted it or decline it, then we will have the necessary publication.
Kasi ito po yung sinasabi ng bayan muna. Malacañang should first publicize the supposed new water concession agreements to make sure that there are no longer onerous provisions in the new deal and it is not eschewed for groups and individuals close to the president. Sabi ni bayan muna Representative Carlos Zarate.
Ito naman si kaibigang Congressman Zarate. Kaya nga nagkagulo dyan dahil may onerous provision. Kaya nga ayaw ni Presidente. Huwag ka mag-alala. Wala lahat yan.
Sir, balik po dun sa mandatory evacuation. May mga OFWs po, particularly sa Baghdad, na humihingi ng tulong sa gobyerno kasi apparently hindi daw po sila pinapayagan na umalis ng kanilang mga employers. Yung iba pinapagbayad pa ng as much as $8,000 bago sila pakawalan. So what will the government do to help these OFWs, sir?
I will leave that to Secretary Bello because he's the one in charge.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, questions? Julie?
Sir, pa-clarify lang po, may statement po si Secretary Bello earlier today na sabi niya, the Filipinos in Iran and Lebanon are no longer covered by the mandatory repatriation. Ang required na lang daw po is yung mandatory evacuation for OFWs in Iraq. So, ano po yung pwede pong palinaw nun, sir? May kainaibahan po ba yung repatriation sa evacuation?
Hindi ko alam yun. Yeah. I will have to ask Secretary Bello why.
Thank you, sir.
Bago sa akin yun.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mag-last question na tayo, Joseph? Okay na? Okay na. Okay na, no more questions? Okay, thank you, MPC. Thank you, Secretary Bello. I'm sorry, Panelo.
Meron ba
And-
kayong ano? Signal? Wala eh. Pati Globe, wala rin.
Okay, thank you. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.